helping out other people is going to help you out with building self-confidence and self-value. But you can't help out other people until you've helped yourself first.
That means I'm moving. I made a few mistakes, but I'm improving. I'm human, but I've been making daily resolutions. I got to. You might do it different, but I'm not you.
Hey, Mark.
I'm self-made. I'm
Hey, Mark.
doing things that I
Mark.
was never taught.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, what's up? What's going on? So, welcome to another episode of Hey Mark, the podcast where I, Mark, get to have open and authentic conversations about things that, we don't normally talk about, things that might be hard to talk about, things like mental health, depression, anxiety, or just the everyday struggles that we go through on a day-to-day basis. I like to talk about, success stories, people that have come out of the dirt and made great names for themselves, or, just found happiness doing whatever it is that they want to do. So sometimes I do interviews, and sometimes I just kind of answer questions that have been sent into me, and sometimes I just go on a little rant if something's kind of on my mind. So, a little bit of housekeeping to be done before I jump into today's episode. Like I said, I like to have these types of conversations, and the reason why is because I like to let other people know that no matter what they're going through, and that means you too, no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. So if you enjoy this kind of content, if you think that, it's useful for somebody that, maybe is struggling right now or has struggled in the past, or, really anybody, because they could struggle with these types of things in the future, just pass on this message, refer it to a friend, and just let them know that, if they are going through something, this is something they can listen to not feel so alone, and maybe get another perspective to help them out of whatever situation or struggle that they're currently in right now. So, that being said, if you enjoy this type of stuff, just pass it on to a friend. So, today's episode is basically going to be another episode of What Would Mark Do? The segment where you can send in any videos or clips or any questions, really basically just asking me anything about my perspective, my point of view on something, or you can kind of just send me a small win in your life, something that you just, kind of want to talk about, brag about, or a struggle that you're going through. And maybe I could, maybe give my 2 cents. Maybe we'll agree, maybe we'll disagree, maybe we'll find some common ground, or maybe someone else will comment a solution for you as well. So send in your clips, but let's go ahead and roll the clip from today, and I'll kind of give my best answer on it.
Hey, Mark. How do you build self-confidence back?
So how do you gain back self-confidence, right? And so maybe you're saying gain back because you had this confidence or self-worth in the past. Maybe it was given to you by some sort of an external force. Maybe it was a person in your life. Maybe it was something that you were doing. Maybe it was something that you had, a thing, whatever it could be. Maybe you have that confidence because you had a really nice car and then you've just recently gotten into an accident or you lost it. Maybe you were in a relationship that made you feel very comfortable, very confident, and that's maybe come to an end, or it's been compromised. The trust just isn't there, or the support just isn't there anymore, or maybe you or them, maybe one of you is using each other as a crutch. Maybe it was a hobby that you used to do. Maybe it was like a sport that you used to participate in, and now that's kind of been taken away from you, maybe due to an injury or a pandemic, whatever it could be. Maybe you had something before in the past and it was giving you confidence, and now you've lost it and you lost that confidence, and you're wondering to yourself, how can I get back this confidence? And let's just talk about, first off, right off the bat, like, how did you lose your confidence in the first place? The reason you lost your confidence, the reason you lost your self-worth was not because, you lost that thing or that person or that hobby from your life. The reason that you lost your self-confidence or your self-worth is because it was embedded into something that was external. It was, provided to you by something that isn't within you. It's not actually a part of who you are. You're basically rooting your foundation in something that you can't control, that's external, something that is, like I said, outside of your control. And so that's kind of a false sense of self-confidence. It's kind of a false sense of, self-worth, because, like I said, it's very obvious. It's not something that comes from within you. And so that's something that's going to be able to be taken away from you at a whim. Essentially, you never had that self-confidence or that self-worth. You were just borrowing it from whatever person, hobby, or thing that you had in your life that was giving you that feeling. You were just borrowing it. It wasn't yours. And so even if you were to get back that thing, that person, that hobby that was giving you confidence in the past, even if you were to get that back into your life, that's not going to give you self-confidence because it wasn't giving you self-confidence in the first place. It was giving you the illusion of self-confidence, the feeling without the actual backing behind it. You were just getting the feeling. You know, when you use an external force, an external person, place, thing for, you know, self-confidence or self-worth, basically, you know, you're setting yourself up to be, you know, having that self-worth or self-confidence compromised in the future, because everything in life is temporary. Any relationships that you have, any things that you have, any hobbies that you participate in, everything has its time limit in your life. And so if you root your self-worth and your confidence into something that has a limited source or is something that's external, you always have the chance that that could be taken away from you. And so what are some ways that you can actually start to build up some authentic self-confidence, some authentic, you know, self-esteem, some self-worth? A lot of the times, for me, it comes from helping out others. It comes from being able to help them out through a struggle, a crisis, a time of need. And so for a lot of us, that's going to help out, right? If you're starting to, you know, help out other people, it's going to give you self-worth. You're going to see that you are making an impact in your community. You're going to see that the world is a better place with you in it. You're going to see that you have the, you know, power, the capacity to actually impact somebody's life in a positive way. You're going to see changes in the world that you've created, something that you've built with your own hands. And you're going to see the smiles on people's faces when they see, you know, the product or service or just the smile that you're sharing with the world. This is going to be a huge stepping stone for you if you need to create value in yourself, if you need to give, you know, yourself a little confidence boost or some self-worth. The real answer is to, you know, give to your community, give to your, say you're in a tough relationship, right? How does this actually apply to your life? You know, a lot of the times we want to get that self-worth back or that confidence back if our relationship's starting to get rocky by, you know, saving the relationship. But if you have a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-value, if you aren't comfortable being on your own, if you aren't really stable and able to help yourself or improve your own life, chances that you're going to be able to help somebody else out are slim to none. And that's not just like a romantic relationship between partners. That's just a relationship in general with another human being. You're not going to be able to help out the people around you or give them happiness or give them true joy. And you're not going to be able to feel that yourself unless you're actually able to be happy by yourself. And so that's why it comes down to, you know, maybe this means you're going to have to be quote unquote alone for a little while. But while you're doing that, you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be, you know, by yourself to be working on yourself. But you're not going to be able to work on yourself if your focus is always on other people. Andy Frisella has this kind of topic that he's talked about where he says, you know, to be selfless, first you have to be selfish. You have to be able to be stable and improve your own life before you can try and improve other people's. So if you are lacking in self-worth, self-confidence, or, you know, just your own value in this world, then maybe you need to take a step back from whatever you're doing, whether it be a relationship, a thing, a hobby, whatever it is. It's clearly not giving you that self-confidence right now. Maybe you need to take a step back and then reflect on how you can make an impact in your community. Maybe this means a little bit of uncomfortability for you, but understand that diamonds are built under pressure. And so if you're in a toxic relationship, maybe you need to distance yourself from it for good, or maybe for a temporary time, I don't know. I'm not gonna kind of give the, you know, relationship advice right now because I don't think I'm the best person for that. But that being said, if you're in a toxic relationship, if you have one of those things in your life, you probably need to distance yourself from that. If you feel like you could learn a little bit more, you could read some books. If you feel like you got a body image issue, you could kind of work out a little bit more, or at least start to make a nutrition plan or a step-by-step process that you could follow for that. If you feel like you kind of have some money issues or financial problems, then maybe you could research a little bit more about financial literacy, or be a little bit more disciplined on your spending habits, or be a little bit more disciplined on your saving habits or your investing habits. If you're feeling like, you know, you have a problem, what you want to do is work to basically destroy that struggle from your life. Take control of your life and take control of whatever it is that's making you feel self-conscious. Obviously, helping out other people is a great way to build that self-confidence, but first what you need to do is help out yourself. One great way to build confidence for yourself is to, set a measurable goal for yourself. Start to, tackle these things that, are making you feel like shit, that are kind of making you feel like you don't have a lot of confidence. Make a goal to, start to tackle those things. If it's body images, if it's, intelligence, if it's anything that you feel like you're lacking in, make a plan to eradicate that from your life. If it's a body image thing, make a plan to, maybe, lose some body fat or gain some muscle. If it's an intelligence thing, if you feel like you need to learn more, then read some books. If you feel like you need to connect more with yourself and you can't figure out what is making you feel this way, then maybe you need to journal and reflect and, be having these conversations with yourself and kind of understand yourself a little bit better, understand your personality a little bit better. I know that for myself, I thought I always knew myself, quote unquote, knew myself, but then I never actually did any reflection. And when I started to do some journaling and have these deep conversations with my friends, I learned more and more about myself, and it taught me more about, certain ways that I feel like I'm lacking, certain strengths that I didn't even know that I had, that I do have. And I think that when you start to set these, measurable goals for yourself and you start to see progress in them and you can see, okay, yeah, I can make a goal and I can get better at this. And then you can kind of take that tactic and apply that to the rest of the things in your life where you feel like you could be lacking or have some room for improvement. Why do you lack that self-confidence? What do you see when you look in the mirror or when you write down in your journal or however you reflect? What do you see in yourself that makes you feel self-conscious? What do you see in yourself that makes you feel like, maybe I'm not good enough? Maybe I have some room for improvement. What are those ways that you can improve? And start to build a game plan on that, right? If you feel lonely, the obvious answer for a lot of us, especially me, if you're stuck in that, mindset of instant gratification that I grew up with, if you're feeling lonely and you have that instant gratification mindset, then your obvious answer is going to be surround yourself with other people. But if you want to actually develop and go through this uncomfortability to have a lot of, happiness, joy, and self-confidence in the future, and you're feeling lonely, then maybe the best answer is to actually dive deep into that. Understand that loneliness and where it comes from. Is it like, abandonment issues? Are you scared? Do you have post-traumatic stress disorder? Is there something that, you haven't dealt with from the past? Dive deep into it, and it's going to be painful. Figure out what's going on, why you feel this lack of self-confidence or self-worth or value in the first place. Helping out other people is going to help you out with building self-confidence and self-value, but you can't help out other people until you've helped yourself first. So sit down, maybe look yourself in the mirror, I guess, or journal or talk to yourself, have a conversation with a loved one that you trust. Reflect on why you feel like you don't have that confidence or that value or that self-esteem. Think about what is lacking in your life, and then think about the patterns and habits that you've created to work your way around that in the past and how that hasn't helped you. And then maybe think about some solutions that are opposite of that, things that can actually start to help, make a change in your life, because what you've been doing in the past clearly isn't helping if you're still stuck in that situation. It's a hard road and it's going to be painful, but this is what development actually feels like. When we work out in the gym or when we do anything, physical, it's easy for us to make the connection of, this is a little bit of pain or a little bit of discomfort, but I'm going to get better because of it. But a lot of the times when we face, these types of situations in our lives, it's very hard to recognize that this discomfort, this pain, this, agony or struggle that we're going through is actually going to make us stronger and more developed. And so going through this kind of bout or fight with, self-confidence issues or self-esteem issues, if you dive into this and actually figure out why you're suffering from it, then you can actually start to, build a plan around, how can I change this situation for myself? How can I evolve from this and start to have that confidence that I'm looking for. And then you can come back to whatever situation that you find yourself in right now. I hope that helps give you a new perspective. I hope that helps you out with whatever things you're going through, or I hope that helps you out with just kind of developing a little bit more confidence. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, send in a clip to Hey Mark, and I'll try and give you my 2 cents. Other than that, that is pretty much all I got today. Thank you so much for the love and the support. Much love and peace out.